Okay, we're gonna go to the next question here. So thank you again, Anthony, for your question. If you're still listening, Collins, another one. He loves it. Thank you. Question two: is it ever environmentally helpful to have plastic wrapped foods to keep food from being wasted? That's a very good question. Very good question.
Yeah, actually, it's really a good question because it's one of the things that people are saying. I mean, it's when it comes to this argument, there are two sides of it. That okay, so if you want us to remove the single-use plastics, I mean, hey, your food is getting waste because now we also realize that another issue apart from plastics is also organic waste and food waste. Lots of food is being wasted every year,
Yeah.
and it's actually not the food that we finish eating on the plate.
Mhm.
Maybe it's not that kind of waste. It's between the farm and the market. The food, the tons of food that actually gets waste because probably they get rotten or bad transportation or so many things that are involved. But I think that there are two ways to this. Whether we really want, to waste the food or we just want, to preserve the food with these materials. But I think that there is a way that we can handle this. There are a lot of models that has been introduced, let's say, trying to purchase from local farmers, like let's say in our community, if we have a small shop, instead of, keep shipping things. Actually, there is a new campaign that is coming that probably maybe we should stop shipping things across border. And why don't we purchase locally made products so that if we have a shorter distance to travel, we don't have to use packaging so that the materials or the food waste gets or the food gets wasted. So that's
Mm,
another
it's clever.
school of
It's
thoughts.
clever.
There is also another one
That's
that
clever.
okay, why don't we pack into maybe larger quantities in one container so we don't have to have every single material. Have you ever been to a supermarket
Yeah.
where you see banana peeled out of its peel
And
and then
repackaged.
chopped and
Chopped.
packed in plastic?
Ah.
I'm like, what? What are you talking about? So, there is another side of it that is
Oh man.
excessive, right?
Oh gosh.
But then also there is another side where people are thinking about maybe what is the impact of this single-use plastics in wrapping food. And I think there's been a lot of research that has been done about it. It hasn't been proven clearly yet whether it has an impact on our health or other things. But if you do a life cycle analysis, it depends on the location,
Mhm.
the energy that is being applied, and all that. It makes it probably clear that maybe we have to think more about more sustainable materials to use, especially when it comes to single use. If I'm just going to Walmart to
Yeah.
buy something and I just come back in a cucumber, I'm just going to remove it and just chop it. And
Eh,
in 5 minutes, that thing has become waste, then I think we are not making sense, right? Maybe we should consider how we package these materials. We can still use the plastics in some
Yeah.
way when it's very necessary, because of course it improves the shelf life of these food waste, especially food materials, especially. But then I think that there is a whole lot of thoughts that has to go in because some of them are just doing it unnecessarily.
Yeah. Very, very good points there. And I think one of the points that stood out there is I think we need to learn how to share, whether it's between a family or sharing items that we have. Like the point that you mentioned about, why do we have to carry food in separate packaging? Why can't we, if we're all in a group together, why
Yeah.
can't we just have it on one big packaging to save using extra packaging? And I think that's one of the biggest takeaways that you shared. Um, yeah, I think we can be more sensible about how we use packaging
Hmm.
and not wasteful. I think if we're in a position where we have to improvise, and if we're in a position where there isn't much packaging, you would always find a way to make it work. And I think
Yeah.
that's the way people need to think. You need to think out of the box and say, hey, look, how can I handle this product or this perishable food, whatever it is,
Yeah.
without having to necessarily use plastic or some kind of packaging?
Hmm.
Um,
And
the
you're
yeah,
totally right, actually. I mean, before plastics, what happened? What was happening? I mean, if you look back, even in Ghana, wache and a lot of materials and food products were actually made in certain packaging, which was natural. And when you finish, you just find a way to compost it, and you're good to go. So I think it's actually a blend of kind of putting a lot of efforts into being intentional that probably these kind of packages, we do not need them. How many people will actually keep, a bag in their car so that maybe in case they have to purchase something, they will just buy it on the road, and keep their materials, the things they purchased in the bag, right? How many people will
Yeah.
do that? But some people see that as too much work and other things. But in Ghana, we
Mhm.
had this thing where if you buy Coke, those
Mhm.
days, I remember very well. If you buy Coke and you want to buy another drink, you have to send the empty glass bottle to the
Yes.
shop and buy a
Yes.
new one. What
Yeah.
happened to it? Like,
I
what
know, right? I
happened to
missed
that?
that. I missed that.
It was
M-
working.
Minerals. Coke,
Yeah,
Fanta,
right?
Sprite. Go take your bottle
Yes.
and bring it back. It was recycling in essence, right? It was cycling. It was great, right?
No
It
one
was great.
complained. It was
No one
working. I
complained.
mean, you cannot,
Yeah.
if you forget, you have to go back and get it, or you pay
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
But
It was a
when
good
we had,
incentive. It
but
was a good
when we
incentive. And
had this,
yeah,
it's gone.
the West
Yeah,
creeping into Africa more, right? It's causing problems. It's bringing convenience, but it's also bringing problems at the same time. And this is
yeah.
the issue. You understand? This is the
Mhm.
issue. We're not saying plastic is necessarily bad, but it's
Not at
how it's
all.
been recycled and how it's been used and consumed and sold to the masses. That's
Yeah.
the problem here. You're very popular today, David. For Friday night, Friday evening, you're getting questions.